free. Saturday evening, last try.
An inmate at the Salinas Valley State Prison, Soledad, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
Hey, I figured out some things about why your phones haven't been coming through, and I appreciate you being persistent. It's just an amazing odd sequence of events that my ringer wasn't turned on, but thank God that you tried again and you made it through. So I think we won't have that problem.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I should, but okay, that was going to be my last try. Okay, great, I got you.
Yes.
Thank you for that, for taking the call as always. How is John Lamb doing?
He's moving in the right direction. He has a crushed foot. He has blood that's accumulated in his foot. A crushed foot. A crushed foot, and he has blood that's accumulated in his stomach and internal organs, but he is moving in the right direction. I mean, for a while there, it looked very bad, but everybody has given God the praise. We continue to lift him up in prayer, and he's moving in the right direction. You know, his family's very concerned, obviously, but they're very happy. He has given a thumbs up and a smile to the camera, so we praise God for that.
Okay, you just cut out for about 10 seconds. Was that you that did that, or were you aware of that?
No, I wasn't aware. I've got 2 bars on my phone, but John is moving in the right direction, and we're very happy, and we're keeping him in our prayers. So I hope my phone stays.
Okay, good.
Maybe I'll step outside. You know what? I will step outside in hopes that I'll get a better signal. So.
Okay. I told Ken Massad about John. He was not aware of it, so he's also going to be praying for him. So I talked to Ken. I think it was yesterday or earlier today. I can't remember which.
Okay, very good.
The whirlwind in here.
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to ask you, Ken and several others, I think, also have said that you've created a really great website, I guess I don't know what you call it, a sub-site on your website for me. Can you possibly send me, the homepage of that and any index or anything, so just so I can get an idea of what's there and what it looks like, what people are seeing when they visit there?
You bet. Matter of fact, we've ordered some new business cards. We have a Year of Jubilee business card. Have you ever seen any of those? Have you received any at all of all the pictures of the political prison? Okay.
Yeah. Yes, you sent me I forgot the guy's name. Oh, here. I got it right here.
Schaefer.
Yeah, you did send me one.
You know, the new card, have you? Does it have the one with all the prisoners? Not all of them.
Your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Do you have the card showing about 8 or 9 prisoners on one side?
It shows, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
okay.
Probably about 12.
Oh, good. Okay, that's right. Okay, so the next edition, which we just ordered 1,000 of, we're going to have your face on there, and I'll send you a copy of that so you'll be able to, pass out your card inside the prison. But in any event, yeah, I can probably try to put something together. The challenge is the website is black. It has a black background, and so when I print it, it uses a whole lot of ink. So I've got to find a way to kind of give you a way that it looks without using so much ink when I print a page off. But yeah, I'll give you a general idea of what it looks like. That's no problem.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, and I am always mindful about all the expenses you and others, especially you at this point, are going through for me. Let's see. I wanted to. Did you ever happen to connect with Ken Massad since we last talked and get that other assemblywoman's name? I still don't have it here at the phone. We had talked about Susan. Yep.
No, I have not. I did. I think I sent him a text off or an email. I can't remember which, but I'll do it again as soon as we get off the phone.
Okay. I don't know if you're aware or the people that this is going out to are aware, but Governor Brown in California is probably on his last leg of his political career. He was a governor in the 1970s, then he went and did something else. I think he became mayor of, I don't know if it was San Francisco or Oakland, and then something else, and now he's back in the governor's position again for 2 4-year periods, and so he's going to be out in the next, whenever the next election comes up, which is another year away or something like that, year and a half away. So his political career is probably wrapped up unless he wants to run for president, and I doubt that's going to happen. But anyway, he's been, for whatever reasons, pardoning a huge amount of people in the last half a year, 4 months, 3 months, 2 months, whatever. Most of these people are people that either are already freed and have been on parole or off parole for a long time and have led very good lives, that he's given full pardons and commutations to, or they're people with drug cases that are in here for drug cases and are still in prison, but he's cut a bunch of them loose. So I don't know, being that he's super left-wing liberal as far as you can get, I don't know that he would be willing to do my case, but it sure would be a good time for everybody to ring the phones off the hooks and flood them with emails and requests and whatever. Now, I had a pardon petition in, a commutation petition in now for about 4 or 5 months. It's been ignored. I've sent them in every few years through all the governors since I've been in prison. Every single one of them has been ignored. By law, they don't have to respond, so they often don't. But just the fact that he's releasing so many people in droves right now, I think he's released more. He's pardoned and released more people than have been pardoned in probably the last 20 or 30 or 40 years combined with all governors.
Wow. Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's something that we definitely will reach out to Governor Brown and maybe advertise his mailing address and get people to write and ask for pardons on your behalf. Usually, when we've done this for you in the past, it's always gone to your lawyer and he's collected this sort of thing. But in this case, you don't mind writing if we write directly to the governor?
Absolutely, directly to the governor. There's only the one issue that would go to my attorney, because for one thing, he's only assigned to that case and that particular issue. Anything else outside there, he's got nothing to do with my parole issues. He's got nothing to do with governor pardon issues. He's got nothing to do with my challenges to my sentencing and my conviction. This is solely, his function is solely dealing with the case of my case being uniquely a disproportionate sentence compared to everybody else with the same sentence, the actual amount of time they spent in prison, and people with a harsher sentence, a first-degree murder that I was acquitted of. My second-degree murder was a lesser included offense of first degree, and the fact that it's considered to be cruel and unusual punishment, according to the U.S. Constitution, you have to be ordered released if a judge determines that it is disproportionate, because it then is cruel and unusual punishment, which is forbidden. For those reasons, they don't have a choice. It's not optional, it's not discretionary. They must release you or order your release. So that's why this is such an important case. That's the only thing Eric is working on for me, my attorney, Eric Weaver.
Okay. Yeah, okay. No, very good. Can you also refresh my memory on the Assemblywoman and what we're supposed to do if Ken Massat can share her name and contact? Okay.
I just love the fact that you're so gung-ho and having written some letters and done some things and shaking up some things that need to be shaken up that I've been trying to get people for years to do. And despite the fact I've had wonderful people doing some things for me, like Gail, this is not one of those things that's been done. So you kind of relit my whole flame and fire on this kind of thing. Susan Eggman, I think she's got a third name in there, something. I think it's Eggman something, actually. I can't remember what else is part of her name. But she is an assemblywoman in California. Again, California has the bicameral legislature just like the feds do, but ours is called an assembly in the Senate instead of congressman and Senate. So they're all called congressmen, I guess. But anyway, we've got assembly and we've got Senate. So she's an assembly.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded,
which is a little lighter, lesser than the actual senators, but anyway, it's the other part of the bicameral legislature. And then there's another, Gordon Rupp, my friend Gordon Rupp, R-U-P-P. Ken Massat has all his contact information. Gordon contacted her, it's probably been 8 months now, got the ball rolling, maybe longer than that, said they're doing an investigation, a special investigation of my case because of all the same things we're complaining about. Not only my lengthy sentence, way over what I was sentenced to, but the parole board shenanigans and my mistreatment in prison and all these different things. And as far as I can tell, they're just doing nothing. They just gave him a pacifier saying, okay, we've got an investigation open, leave us alone and we're going to go ahead and investigate this. And I think it's just a way to shun us off. So I would like letters written, scream at them with 1,000 letters about what are they doing, and what I wrote them a very astute letter saying, asking what can you do for me as a legislator. You can't do certain things that the court can do. Obviously, you're a different branch of government. You can't do what the governor can do. So what can you do? What is the reach of your authority? What do you intend to do? What is your goal? Here are my goals, and so on and so on. And they never responded at all. In addition, I also said, I'm requesting these 2 Senate bills that could set me free because they're now law passed in California about the DAs withholding evidence secretly and also falsifying evidence, and they won't send me the bills. And I don't have any other way here to get them. Now I've lost the numbers on them, but I did send them the numbers several times, and I also have a right by law to receive a California Constitution book, which is a great book they give out. California, U.S. Constitution, Declaration of Independence, all that stuff in a book that anybody, including prisoners, can get upon request from the Assembly. I've requested that of her, and she just has ignored my letters. So that tells me a lot about they're not doing a thing. So I think we need to shake them up.
Okay.
The other thing is Ken Massad has contacted a completely different Assemblywoman, and now I forgot her name. I remember her assistant's name is Priscilla, but you have to get the Assemblywoman's name from Ken. And she also has not as much, maybe not saying we have opened an investigation, but said we're looking into this. We have a file on Lazor now, and we're looking into it. And I even sent them authorization to talk to Ken and everybody else about anything about my case, and did all the things that Ken asked me to do to get the ball rolling on it. That was a couple months ago, and nothing's happened. So I think they're just trying to pacify us and put us off. So, I'm asking, let's not let them pacify us. Let's put a fire under them and make them respond and do what they should as my legislators.
No, very good. And one question and one comment. But the question is, when is your do you have a date for your next parole hearing? Do you have one every 6 months, one a year? Any idea?
No. They put me off. They put me off for 5 years.
5 years.
Some knucklehead. Yeah, California has the proposition initiative and referendum system. A lot of states do. A lot of states don't. Where people can put in a legislative bill that they want to pass into law, and then they have to gather enough signatures, and then they have to put it on the ballot, and people vote on it. So people voted on, they were misled, they were lied to, they voted on this crazy initiative that raised by law, I must have a parole hearing every year, but they just said, we don't care about the law because we made new laws that superseded that, and the courts have said it's not ex post facto, and so we can do whatever we want. And so now they can't put me off for less than 3 years. Then they can put me off for 3, 5, 7, 10, or 15 years to my next parole hearing. So they put me off for the minimum 3 years, about 3 or 4 times in a row now. And then this last time they punished me for putting in that Sutton affidavit that showed that CDC cops were setting me up with false 115s.
Oh, that reminds me, and I know we're going to run out of time here. I did get a letter from you today. I have not had a chance to digest it. I've got so many different letters, and I was working towards yours. I think that probably is a Sutton affidavit. What should I do with your letter? Is that something to be published? Is it for me personally? Tell me what to do with that letter that I got from you today.
Yeah, you can publish anything, phone calls or letters, unless I specifically say don't publish.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and if it's something you get from elsewhere, like the transcripts of the parole hearing, which I said, wait, take that off.
Okay.
Then ask me. But
gotcha.
But if it's something off my website, of course, obviously, I want it out there. Go ahead and publish any of that too.
Okay.
So yeah. So,
okay. No. And the other, go ahead. But I did want to make a final point before we wrap up. I know we're running out of time. So.
You go ahead. Go ahead.
No, the point I want to make is, with this country, it appears that the topic of prison reform is getting quite a bit of attention. And whether you call it right, left, Republican, Democrat, or Christian, conservative versus liberal, it doesn't really matter. Unfortunately, people that are on the far, what I would call right, I don't know what the proper words to use, but they always side with, this hard on crime and stick everybody in prison. But they really need to wake up. And, I typically don't side with Black Lives Matter all that much.
60 seconds remaining.
But I'll say they have some very valid points when it comes to prison reform. And so I'm hoping that we get some attention in this country on prison reform.
Yes, and that is actually changing. The hard on crime thing is dying, and the restorative justice is kind of taking over. The Catholic Church is largely behind that. The Jesuits are behind it. Most people don't know that. But in any case, it's turning out to be a good thing for people like me. So that's it.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
I did want to talk to you about one other major thing that won't be timed, so I won't even get into it. But We've covered a lot of ground. We're doing well. I thank you so much. If I get a chance, it won't be back-to-back like right now because somebody else is waiting on the phone, but if I get a chance to call again tonight, I will if that's okay. Is that all right with you?
Yes, and I've got the problem fixed where the phone will ring, so that's not going to be an issue from now on.
All right. About a 50-50 chance I will. Okay, thank you so much. Give my best to Aaron and to all your family, whoever else.
All right, it cut him off in mid-sentence. That's PF-free Lazor. 35 years in prison on a self-defense shooting. The guy broke into his house. He defended himself, and now he's sitting in prison for 35 years. Please keep PF Lazor in your prayers. Thank you for your time.